Okay, so I set up all the proportions for you, but I didn't go much further. I just wanted to remind you how to set up the cross products. So here would be 5x equals 15 times 3. I'd ask that you solve it from there. And then here is the entire first section there, the first A through H. And you can pause the video anytime you want just to see how I got to where I got in each problem, and then solve them from there. So you should have the answers totally finished on your paper, but here is definitely a big hint for you. The only one that's a little crazy, and it's quite a bit crazy compared to the others, is E, because you'll notice that when you distribute the x times x, you get an x squared. So on that particular one, you end up having to set it equal to 0 and factor it. So I want to see if anyone can figure that one out from their knowledge from last year. But all the other ones are pretty straightforward and just end up x equals. Okay, and number 2 is similar to what we did in class. The ratio of seniors to juniors is 2 to 3. So I wrote 2 seniors to 3 juniors equals, and the other side it told us there was 24 juniors. So if juniors was in the bottom, then juniors is in the bottom. So x goes in the numerator. You will do the cross product and solve on your own. You might remember shadow problems from 7th or 8th grade, but a 15-foot building, so 15-foot B over a 9-foot shadow, and they also tell you that there's another 30-foot shadow somewhere. So if shadow was in the bottom here, shadow has to be in the bottom here. 30-foot shadow. So x goes in the only remaining spot. You will do a cross multiplication, and you will solve for x. Here a picture is 3 inches wide by 5 inches high. So I just did 3 wide over 5 high. Then it was enlarged, dilated in other words, so that the width was 15. Well, if width was in the numerator here, then width has to be in the numerator here. The only remaining place is your x. You will cross multiply and solve. Question D, kind of an odd way to word this question, but it's basically 2 burgers for every 1 week. That was a little hard to figure out by the way that was worded. But burgers over week. It also tells you that there's 4 weeks in the problem somewhere. So if weeks was in the bottom here, weeks has to be in the bottom here. That leaves only 1 spot for your x. You're going to cross multiply and solve. All right, the triangle's 3 angles are in the ratio 5, colon 7, colon x. We read that 5 to 7 to 8. Sorry, I said x instead of 8. So the other way to write that algebraically is 5x, 7x, and 8x. It's 5 parts, 7 parts, and 8 parts. So 3 angles. One of the angles is 5x, another one is 7x, and another one is 8x. They don't have to tell us the total angles because we know that that's 180. So we have 5x plus 8x plus 7x. You're going to combine all the x's together, which I believe is 20, and you're going to solve for x. But that's not where the problem ends. Just like in class, whatever x equals, the actual question wants us to solve for the smallest angle. What's the smallest angle? 5x, 8x, or 7x? Obviously 5x is the smallest. So whatever you got for x, plug it into 5x to solve for the actual smallest angle. And in the last problem, a 6-foot boy casts a shadow of 24 inches. Now I know those are different units, but we don't have to convert because we're just saying 6 feet leads to 24 inches. So then we have another inches in our problem. If inches was in the bottom before, it'll be in the bottom now. As long as we're solving for feet, and we are, x goes in the numerator, you're going to cross multiply and solve. That's it. So I didn't give you complete answers. I set them all up. There should be no reason why, based on this, and you can pause and go back and watch them again, that with a calculator you couldn't find all the answers. See you tomorrow.